Road Win Rewards. Road Win Rewards. Road Win Rewards.
Red Sox fans are loving Gulch Road Win Rewards because when the Red Sox win on the road, you win at the pump. All season long, enjoy 10 cents off per gallon the day after the Red Sox win on the road when you use Gulf Pay. Download Gulf Pay to score savings along with a fast and convenient way to pay. See app for details. Gulf. It all starts here. And go Sox!
If you or someone you believe in is facing a DUI, please call us. This is McDaniel Reynolds with the Reynolds Defense Firm, and if we work together, we'll do our absolute best for you. Reynolds Defense Firm. We're solid, we're here if you need us, and we are very good at what we do.
This is a Bears town. We worship great defense. We appreciate frigid temperatures when our 11 are battling their 11 on the lakefront in January. We love a helmet with a chunk of fresh turf lodged in it. This is a Bears town. And we are the new home of the Bears. ESPN Chicago.
This is ESPN Chicago, WNVP, WTBC, HD2 Chicago, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Coming up on SportsCenter all night. Playoff races continue to heat up across Major League Baseball.
0-2 pitch. Hit high. Left center field. Castro sprinting back at the fence. Turns. It's out of here!
The NBA schedule is out.
Every single game is going to matter in the Western Conference. No slow starts. No guys sitting out. Because every single night you're going to have to strap your shoes up.
Quarterback injuries continue to affect Browns training camp.
Early, I think warming up, and I felt it throughout individuals who took a look at it. If it's a right guard, you can play through that. When it's a quarterback, you kind of need that muscle to throw.
Plus, will Caleb Williams be able to silence the doubters this season?
The reason why you were number one overall pick. Lock in, see what you can do, and take your game to the next level. And that's what I'm hoping that Ben can do, help him unlock doors as he keeps going up that ladder of greatness.
Worldwide headquarters of ESPN. This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Jim Basquiat.
How will the Wild Wild West look in the NBA? And 50-50 reaches the Lone Star State. Welcome to SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. We are brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Plenty ahead in the show, which includes the NBA schedule out, meaning the season is inching closer, and star defenders still in search of long-term contracts in the NFL. But we begin in the bigs with the sorry state of affairs of baseball in the Big Apple. Bad in the Bronx, worse in Queens. The Mets have hit a roadblock. When they hit, they can't pitch. On the rare occasion they do pitch, they can't hit. On the even rarer occasion, when the starters pitch well, the pen gives it up. It's led to 9 losses in 10 games. They've had 2 stretches this year where they've lost 10 of 11. Some of that bad on display Thursday in the series finale against the Braves.
1-0 pitch, and he swings, and it's one deep down the right field line towards the corner, and that is off of the wall on the fly. Harris takes off. Mets just now hit the cutoff man. That's going to give the Braves the lead. It's a double by Ozzie. That's his 3rd big base hit tonight, and it gives the Braves a lead here in the 8th inning as it's 4-3 Atlanta. He just cooked that one off the wall in right field.
Ozzie is in Albee, 680 The Fan. He homered, drove in the go-ahead run with that 2-sacker in the 8th against Ryan Helsley. The Braves best the Mets 4-3, rallying for a 2-spot in that 8th after the Mets took a 3-2 lead in the 6th. New York's lost 13 of their last 15 games overall. Their manager, Carlos Mendoza.
We're not playing well, but too much talent. We're going through a very tough time right now, but, there's a lot of good players there. And we just we gotta get through this. We can't be looking at the standing. We're not where we at. We haven't played well, but we're still pretty much right in the thick of things. So, we got to find a way.
You can't keep saying they have talent if you're not winning games. They have a half-game lead on the Reds for that final wildcard spot in the National League. The Yankees also hold a slim lead for the 3rd wildcard in the American League. Buster Olney joining Amber and Ian on which New York team is in worse or better shape?
I actually think that right now the Mets are the better team, but I think they're in more trouble than the Yankees are because they're in the National League, which is just a much tougher league. I've never seen such disparity between the two leagues. So you have the Mets now fighting for a wild card spot against the Dodgers and the Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds, led by Terry Francona, whose teams always get better in the second half. And on the other hand, you've got the Yankees in the American League, which is so much easier. And, guys, they have the softest finishing schedule that I've ever seen. So I think that between the schedule and how much easier it is in the American League, I think the Yankees find their way into the playoffs, and the Mets are in trouble.
The set at the belt. The pitch on the way. Swinging a ground ball. Base hit. Past the diving shortstop Turner. DeYoung scores the tying run. Adams being waved in. Marsh's throw is offline. And the Nationals lead. Adams scores standing up. Tena delivers. The Nationals 3, the Phillies 2.
And Nationals Radio Network, Jose Tena, the go-ahead 2-run single in the 7th. Paul DeYoung, a homer for a third time in 5 games. Nats beat the Phillies 3-2. Philadelphia keeps, though, the 5-game division lead on the Mets, despite losing 3 straight and scoring 3 runs along those 3 straight setbacks.
0-2 pitch. Hit high, left center field. Castro sprinting back at the fence, turns. It's out of here! Big fly, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. A stunner step around second as he slams the Blue Jays in front, 2-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Yeah, he's had some big blows of late for the Jays. Sportsnet 590, the Fan. Vlad Jr., 2-run home run in the 7th, helping Max Scherzer and the Blue Jays beat the Cubs 2-1. Vlad Jr.'s blow came off Matthew Boyd, lifting the AL East leaders to a series victory. It was his 20th of the season. Scherzer 7+ innings, improved to 6-2 in 12 career starts against the Cubs. He gave up just 1 run on 5 hits.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Runner goes, pitch drilled to left base, hit David Fry. That'll score Arias. Kefis to third, in with a feet-first slide. And a big RBI single for David Fry, his 18th run batted in. And now Cleveland with a little breathing room. 2 in here in the 7th. And Cleveland now taking a 7-4 lead.
That's 1100 WTAM. David Fry with the run-scoring knock there. Jose Ramirez, 3 hits, 3 runs scored. Guardians over the Marlins, 9-4. They rallied for their 23rd win in 32 games, moved within 1/2 game of the idle Yankees for the final American League wild card spot. Yes, both Ohio teams are a half game back of the New York teams for the final wild card spots in each league. Buster Olney on if Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman, knowing where they are in a safe spot in the Bronx.
Fans are up in arms. If you were to take a poll, there's no question there'd be I think a lot of Yankees fans want to see a change there because their view reflects the sort of the temperament and the views of the late George Steinbrenner, who conditioned the Yankee fans, A, if you don't win the World Series, you suck. And B, if you don't win the World Series, then you're probably going to fire somebody. And here's the thing. As much as Yankee fans want to think that way, that's not how Hal Steinbrenner thinks. And so Hal Steinbrenner, who just signed Aaron Boone to a 3-year extension after last season, he's going to give credit to the front office and to Boone for making the World Series last year in a way that the fans never will. So if I'm sitting here guessing, I think that both Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone will be back, even if the Yankees didn't make the playoffs.
For Jerry Jones, though, he's not concerned about Micah and the contract, believing it eventually will get done.
What it is what it is, and we'll work through it or not work through it.
Once again, Jerry Jones wants to let everybody know that his yardstick is bigger than anybody else.
Yeah, what would a season heading into a season be without the Cowboys dealing with a long-term deal with one of their star players? This time it's Micah Parsons, and again, the season is inching oh so close. It feels like Jones is orchestrating this, right? To right before the season starts. Dan Graziano on a team, though, that is hell-bent on getting their way.
I don't think there's been any movement on that front at all. I think the Cowboys are dug in on their position, which is they thought they had a deal agreed to in the spring, and if he wants to take that deal, awesome. They're happy to do it. They feel like it was more than fair, and if he doesn't, he's under contract, They can franchise him in 26. They can franchise him in 27. They've done it before. Dak Prescott played on a franchise tag and was set to play on a second one when they got a last-minute deal done. So I think my sense of it is the Cowboys feel like he knows what we're willing to do. It's up to him whether he wants to say yes or play this thing out.
All-Pro defensive end Trey Hendrickson ended his holdout and reported to Bengals training camp. He did indicate he won't participate until he gets a new contract.
Things are exactly the same. What I'm not going to do is, as best as I can, avoid being a distraction.
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson is back with the Bengals, is practicing, is ready to play, but doesn't have a long-term contract. Thus, Marcus Spears thinks this will be the end, final season in Cincinnati.
I think it's for sure his last year. Did you watch them on defense last year?
Oh, yeah.
Shit, it wasn't but one bright spot, and that was 91. So the problem becomes for Cincinnati is, and I've talked about this, when you get into this window of really believing that you can win at a high level because of what they got offensively, you got to start paying people. And that's really what it boils down to. Trey has led the league in sacks the last 2 years, I believe. Or I know he for sure did last year with 17 and a half. And the man has been in a contract dispute for 1 million days. For what? You don't have anybody else. You don't have it. There is nothing about Trey Hendrickson's resume that should tell the Cincinnati Bengals we don't need to pay this man a high level of dollars, right? Or you drop him and you say, you know what, we gonna trade him. Because we don't respect what you've done in this organization, in this franchise, so let's trade him and see what we can get. I'm sure somebody would love Trey Hendrickson's services.
Meantime, Steelers defensive tackle Cam Hayward got a contract extension last offseason, then played all 17 games, had 8 sacks, 71 tackles, a dozen for loss, named first-team All-Pro for the 4th time in his career. So after that, he asked the team to again rework his deal with the 36-year-old sitting out of training camp. The Steelers have been reluctant to pay out more money to Hayward, in large part to his age. Former Steelers executive Doug Whaley bashing Hayward on how he's handled the negotiations with the club. He joined 93.7 The Fan on Wednesday.
Where I think it's an abject failure is Cam Hayward and his team. If he walked out the doors and said, if I make All-Pro, I'm going to see you next year. No. You're at the bargaining table now. Put that in there now. So if you're the rep, you should know that the salary cap's going to spike a greater amount than years past. You know people are going to get signed. You know who's going to be free agents, and they're going to sign deals. And you can even put it in an incentive. If he makes All-Pro, his salary goes up to X. And this is what he gets paid for, to compute where would be probably a top 10 salary range for D tackles for the next year. So the 15 years of goodwill Cam Hayward has gained in the public and on the team is smashed over this lack of foresight. So to me, it's an object failure from Cam. So I can understand why he has such vitriol from the fans, because you should have did this before.
The Philadelphia Eagles have won Super Bowl 59. They have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22.
We don't care how about anybody else thinks. We won the way we wanted to win, and we're world champs forever.
Yeah, you could talk stats, you could talk individual honors left and right, but it's all about winning regardless of the sport, and Jalen Hurts has done just that. The Steelers quarterback on his confidence level post winning a Super Bowl.
Winning a Super Bowl makes you more confident.
Yeah, when you get a promotion, do you think you're more confident? When you get a promotion? Have you ever been promoted?
Yeah,
well, I mean, it's, you chase a dream, and everybody's dream is to do that. And so once you know that you can, it brings a sense of assurance that you can, And I've said before, it's not it's a great question. You got me talking.
Speaking of Super Bowl, both Yates of ESPN, Field and Clinton, bullish on the Ravens.
The Ravens are in a situation where, again, awkward offseason with the kicker situation. Let's not forget that last year, their season ended on a dropped pass. People forget that. Extremely winnable game for them in the playoffs that they just biffed. The Ravens, I think, will make the Super Bowl this year. I do believe that. The road to the Super Bowl goes through Arrowhead, blah, 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 yakety schmackety. The Ravens can do it.
The Ravens fit into a category that I think is a really good one to be in going into the season, but the minute the season begins, the pressure mounts significantly.
Yeah.
And that category is the teams where if they don't win the Super Bowl, there's no excuse. And I think there are 5-ish teams that fit into this category. The Chiefs, obviously, in that category as well. The Bills are in that category. The Ravens are in that category. The Eagles, obviously, in that category. The Lions, I would say, are in that category as well. On paper, and presuming reasonable level of health, all of those teams should be amongst the very, very best in the NFL. But at the end of the season, 4 out of those 5 teams are guaranteed to not win. And there's going to be no excuse like, well, the Chiefs are still an ascending team, or like the Lions are just, they're just still the scrappy Lions. No. Like, each of those teams has arrived enough. And in the case of all of those teams besides the Chiefs and the Eagles, with their current quarterbacks, they have not reached the mountaintop, but we have reached the no excuses point for these franchises.
Caleb Williams has Hall of Fame physical ability.
He can't take 68 sacks because you will not be an effective quarterback. You get hit that many times.
I would love for him on the season to complete 70% of his balls. It's a lofty goal, but it's one that we're going to strive for.
Yeah, the goals for Caleb Williams heading into year 2. You heard 68 sacks. There's a lot of sacks, but 20-6 touchdown to interception. Just threw 6 interceptions in his rookie season. His new coach, Ben Johnson, on what he's looking forward to.
He and I met yesterday. I'm pleased with how he's able to spit these plays out right now. He's made significant progress in that regard. And once we get going here in a game week, we're going to condense the verbiage even more. So we've challenged him. It's been a lot. That was by design. And so if we struggle at all in the huddle getting the play out, then yeah, the delays are going to pop up. And that's a little bit of part of the learning process and us growing. But by design, we've made this very challenging and hard. And we know what we need to do as a staff to alleviate some of that pressure. And I think week 1, we're going to be in a good spot.
We'll play Shedeur at quarterback. That's a great opportunity for all of our young players.
They're not putting Joe Flacco in there, so they are down to basically saying, like, all right, Shedeur, here's your shot.
It may be a blessing in disguise for Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, well, he made the most of it. The Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders, 2 touchdown passes, 3 touchdown drives in his start last week, though now dealing with an oblique is Coach Kevin Stefanski.
Early, I think warming up, and I felt it throughout individuals, so took a look at it. If it's a right guard, you can play through that. When it's a quarterback, you kind of need that muscle to throw. So unfortunately, going to put him down for a little bit here. We'll treat it day to day and see how he responds, but want to be smart because he's a thrower.
Unsportsmanlike ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU, Evan Cohen, Chris Canny, joined by Damien Woody talking NFL at 7:30 Eastern, and Joe Fortenbaugh, ESPN bet analyst at 9:30 Eastern. Coming up next, more baseball. We have the Brewers, and how have they become the best in the bigs? We've got answers on the other side. And how have the Padres overtaken the Dodgers for best in the West? That's next. This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
We are on September 2nd moving to ESPN Radio, which is also my roots, I'm proud to say.
The return of Rich Eisen.
To be able to go back to where my career started was something that I never thought possible.
September 2nd, weekdays from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus. More SportsCenter All Night coming up next.
Road Win Rewards. Road Win Rewards. Road Win Rewards.
Red Sox fans are loving Gulf's Road Win Rewards because when the Red Sox win on the road, you win at the pump. All season long, enjoy 10 cents off per gallon the day after the Red Sox win on the road when you use Gulf Pay. Download Gulf Pay to score savings along with a fast and convenient way to pay. See app for details. Gulf, it all starts here.
And go Sox!
But I passed the breath test. This is McDaniel Reynolds with the Reynolds Defense Firm, and we specialize in one thing. We represent good people facing DUI charges. While you know that it's illegal to drive with a .08 or greater blood alcohol content, not everyone knows that you could be arrested in Oregon for an alcohol DUI even if you blow well under a .08. This is a pretty loose standard, and it's a way that many of the good people we represent find themselves needing our help when they thought they were doing everything right. The Reynolds Defense Firm. We're solid. We're here if you need us, and we are very good at what we do.
Get some knowledge. Attend Whiskey U.
How many Whiskey U's have you been to?
Probably been about 10 or 11 Whiskey U's.
Yeah, this is my second one.
Probably 5 or 6.
And I came out to that first one, and I was like, oh, well, this is nice.
Top notch. Carmen's amazing.
From then, it just took off for me.
Stay tuned for details on the next session of Whiskey U.
I'm a sophomore, so I think I have 2 years to go, and I'm hoping to get a master's. Fingers crossed.
Whiskey me?
No, Whiskey U!
I'm Tom Waddle.
Whatever he's accomplished in life, he's done it because of Tom Waddle. He's done it because of the effort he put into being a football player, for one thing. If you're talking about full-out speed and blazing talent, no. But how do you measure the heart and the will of an individual? And he had that. So if you have the heart and the will, that's going to propel you to do things a lot greater than this guy who has these flexy muscles and stands around and gets his ass kicked when the ball snapped.
Hear Waddle with Sylvie.
Now, weekdays 2:30 to 6:30 on ESPN Chicago.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. I care deeply about creating a world we can all fully participate in, free from stigma, misperceptions, and barriers. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Rooted in communities nationwide, Easter Seals helps empower millions of people, regardless of age or disability, through its life-changing services and powerful advocacy. Today and every day, Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
There's an app for that. Download, listen live, podcasts on demand. The ESPN Chicago app. You're listening to Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Jim Basquill.
Myers out of the stretch, the pitch, and a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Would you like fries with that? 12 in a row for the Crew. 12-5, your final. The Brewers with their second longest winning streak in the regular season in franchise history.
What is going on in Beer City? The Brew Crew of Milwaukee, 12 straight wins, a dozen in a row. 620 WTMJ, their latest W over the Pittsburgh Pirates a night ago. Buster Olney on Amber and Eon on what makes the Brewers so successful.
I had one executive say to me last week, the thing about the Brewers is they don't play bad games. They do a lot of things really well. They may not have a lot of superstars, but they're one of the top 3 defensive teams and one of the top 4 teams when it comes to starting pitching ERA. They have a good bullpen. They're really athletic. They run the bases extremely well. They're going to be a tough out when they reach the National League playoffs. Who would have thought a month and a half ago, that basically they've all but settled the National League Central with the way they're playing.
The 2-2, and that's a liner into left center. It's going to drop in. 1 run scores, 2 runs score, and the Angels have the lead. Oh, Hoppy on a 2-2 pitch drilled that one, a low liner into left center, and the Angels are on top. It's 6-5.
Angels Radio AM 830. Now, if the Dodgers look back at this regular season and wonder what happened, how did we get overtaken for the tops in the West? They're going to look back at this Angels team that swept them in the regular season 6-0, crowning them LA's champs. Jesse Rogers joining Clinton and friends on how the Padres have overtaken the Dodgers for tops in the West in advance of their huge series, which starts later tonight.
There's a perfect storm going on. First of all, I truly believe in hangover seasons. They won the World Series. They've taken their foot off the gas several times this year, allowing San Diego to get back in it. Now, I don't think they've done that on purpose, but it's the nature of a long season after winning the World Series. Just things happen that you can't really understand, but maybe if you put it through the prism of we're trying to play another 7-month season and win it all, there's just moments of fatigue that you might not know it's upon you.
and then it hits. But this is mostly about the Padres, to be honest. A.J. Preller should be every fan's dream GM. And I know the Padres could fall off the cliff in a few years, but what he tries to do with every deadline, I just think is so inspiring for a fan base.
2-1 pitch, swinging a high fly ball right field. This will get the run home. Larnach back to his left now. In makes the catch. Keith will tag, come home, throw to the plate. Not in time. Strong throw by Larnach. Kolke scores. A wild pitch helps the Tigers take the lead here in the 11th. Sacrifice fly for Gleyber Torres, 4-3 Tigers.
That's 97-1 the ticket. That was your game winner. Tigers overcame an early 3-run deficit, beat the Twins 4-3. Riley Green hit his team leading 28th home run. Detroit wins for the fourth time in 5 games, 5th in 7.
The 0-1 pitch hit on the ground past the dive of Suarez. It'll roll down the line and left. Rounding third is Halladay. He scores. Westburg makes it to third on the back end. And it's a double for Gunnar Henderson. He drives in a run to extend the Orioles' lead to 4-0.
Indeed, Gunnar Henderson that wound up the game winner. WBAL, they down the M's 5-3. Seattle's dropped 2 straight after that 8-game win streak, fall game and a half back of the West leading Astros. Cal Raleigh, who leads the Bigs with 45 home runs, out of their lineup for only the 5th time this season.
Here comes the 2-2. Swung on. That ball is barreled high and deep out to right center field. Gurriel admires because that thing's in the bullpen. It's a 3-run shot for the Diamondbacks. For Lourdes, it's his 15th. And the Diamondbacks jump out in front nice and early. It's 3-0 Snakes.
Arizona Sports 98.7 FM. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. 3-run shot. Eduardo Rodriguez, 7 strong innings. Diamondbacks over the Rockies 8-2, winning for the 6th time in 7 games. They've overtaken the Giants in the standings. This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Including Maisha Hines-Allen coming back from an injury. Beckham's off balance, carrying away, and still hits it.
Lulling the defender to sleep off of the bounce with the dribble. And that 6-foot tall can just elevate.
He does everything, kind of, as you said, kind of lulls you to sleep. Nothing too flashy, smooth.
All right, that was Paige Beckers on that finish. Has the WNBA, talking players now, received Paige Beckers more favorably than Caitlin Clark? If so, why? Clark's Fever teammate Sophie Cunningham not feeling the love of the former UConn star getting league-wide.
I love Paige to death. Do not get me wrong. I think, I think she's a hell of a player and, would love to play with her one day. But those refs were giving her every freaking whistle last night. You literally couldn't touch her. And that is so annoying to me. And if you're going to do that, then give it to our guards. I just hate the inconsistencies. Or we know she's a good rookie and she's going to get some whistles, but to get the treatment she got last night was crazy. She's already going to be a GOAT. She's going to be a Hall of Famer. Everyone knows that she's freaking hell of a player, but getting some of those whistles already, oh my, I couldn't.
Some a little venom there too. A little venom. Meantime, every NBA team will have at least 2 nationally televised games this season. The league confirmed that number with the schedule unveiled. The reason there are more national games than ever, the new 11-year, $76 billion agreements with ABC, ESPN, NBC, Peacock, and Amazon Prime. 247 games scheduled nationwide. Coming up, more on Micah Parsons and the Cowboys. That's next. This is ESPN Radio.
What's up, kiddos? Clinton Yates here. Coming up on Friday, we'll look ahead to week 2 of the NFL preseason and head to Texas for 2 days with the Cowboys and the Texans. That's
Road Win Rewards. Road Win Rewards. Road Win Rewards.
Red Sox fans are loving Gulf's Road Win Rewards because when the Red Sox win on the road, you win at the pump. All season long, enjoy 10 cents off per gallon the day after the Red Sox win on the road when you use Gulf Pay. Download Gulf Pay to score savings along with a fast and convenient way to pay. See app for details. Gulf. It all starts here.
And go Sox!
If you or someone you believe in is facing a DUI, please call us. This is McDaniel Reynolds with the Reynolds Defense Firm, and if we work together, we'll do our absolute best for you. Reynolds Defense Firm. We're solid, we're here if you need us, and we are very good at what we do.
This is Al.
It is our privilege to welcome in the great Al Michaels.
And this is Mike.
Mike Tirico is in our studio.
They talk to a lot of people about sports.
You know, it's always great to talk with you guys. It's my favorite call-in show.
And they enjoy talking to Waddle and Sylvie the most.
I travel around the country. There's no radio show I like listening to more. I like coming on more.
So be like Mike.
I say it all the time. I love you guys. You guys are as good as it gets.
And Al.
Unbelievable.
And talk to Waddle and Sylvie.
I can listen to you guys.
Afternoons on ESPN 1000.
Hey, Chicagoland, it's time to tee up your next golf adventure with a trip to Tullymore Golf Resort, featuring 36 championship holes at 2 5-star rated golf courses. Spend more time on the course and less time in the car. Tullymore is just a quick 3.5-hour drive from the city. Enjoy an up-north golf experience without the drive at Tullymore Golf Resort. Experience a Michigan masterpiece. Start your trip with just a click at tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I. And then we.
Brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence.
We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together.
Established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
Just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Courtney Cronin, the latest from Hallis Hall, and wherever Bears roam in Chicago. Be an informed fan with ESPN Chicago, brought to you by Costa Ivoni. Listening to Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Jim Basquill.
And ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Half-hour headlines on Sports Center all night.
Again, our top stories: Braves best the Mets in comeback style, sending New York to their 13th loss in 15 games. Their wild card lead for that third spot in the National League down to a half game. Guardians beat the Fish, get within a half game of the Yankees for the final AL wild card. Vlad Jr.'s seventh inning, a home run, a game winner. Jays give Scherzer a win over the Cubs. NBA schedules out some 247 games getting national airtime, many of which on ABC, ESPN, and the Cowboys still trying to find common contract ground with Micah Parsons.
I think it's the biggest problem Jerry Jones has had since the 90s. When was the last time a player said, I don't want to play for the Cowboys?
When he says don't lose sleep over it, that tells you that he views it as almost like a game in some respects.
I never understand this dance that they do.
All right, Mike Parsons, Cowboys. The saga continues, right? Because he still hasn't signed a long-term contract, though Jerry Jones said they had agreed to the parameters of a deal in March. Still no deal has been struck, so let's not point fingers, Dan Graziano. Let's figure it out. Is he going to play week one?
Yes, because, look, he's going to make $21 million this year if he does nothing, right? Like, that's the fifth-year option number, so 21, 22, whatever it is. Yeah, you giving up 1/18 of that to make this point?
But he doesn't have to give it up. Graz, he's got a back injury.
Well, that's true, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, if he can pass a team physical, I mean, I guess that's always the push-pull on that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess if he wants to play it out like that, that could change the Cowboys' mind. Maybe he's calling their bluff as much as they're calling his. But this is a situation where it's about who blinks first, and the Cowboys feel like they hold more cards.
And Chris Canty, who you just heard there on the Jerry Jones end of things, does he strike a deal?
Here's the problem that the Dallas Cowboys are running into. the market for edge rushers has been reset 3 times over this offseason, from Max Crosby at $35.5 million to Myles Garrett at $40 million to T.J. Watt at $41 million.
You're saying all after that March date where they thought they had the deal done.
Exactly. So the fact that the deal didn't get across the goal line, the onus or the impetus is not on the player. That's on the owner. That's on the organization to get it done. And Jerry Jones prides himself on being a closer. Well, damn it, why didn't you close the Micah Parsons deal? If you agreed in principle, if you had an understanding with the player, call the agent, get it done. Don't ask Micah to pressure his agent into taking a deal that you're putting together. That's just ridiculous.
With or without Micah Parsons, Mike Tannenbaum says that Cowboy defense needs to be better.
It's going to start with their run defense. They've struggled over the last few years, but last year they were terrible. They were 30th in the league defending the run. 3 key players to focus on. First-round pick, Mozzie Smith out of Michigan, really hasn't played as well as they had hoped. They brought over Kenneth Murray, a good, versatile linebacker who needs to play well immediately. And eventually they'll get back to Marion Overshown, a talented linebacker coming off of a major injury. If they can address their run defense, it will help their 32nd ranked red zone defense overall.
Let's keep it in the NFC East. The Commanders' stellar season under Jaden Daniels as their rookie quarterback last year, reaching the NFC title game. So is there momentum moving forward, Clinton Yates?
Jaden Daniels last year, real motivator for fans to get back in the saddle. Never mind the sale of the team. That Daniels kid can play. The Terry McLaurin situation is up in the air. That's a disaster, if we're being honest. But this is the kind of team that might make a real run. They know they can beat the Lions. How do I know? It happened. The question is whether or not they've got any shot to handle a juggernaut like the Eagles, who absolutely demolished them in the NFC Championship game. This is a real fulcrum-like season, in my opinion, particularly because the news of the new stadium is floating about the city. You've got a real chance to build momentum here. I don't think that they need to make a Super Bowl or even NFC Championship run again to justify the hype around Jaden Daniels, but I do think they need to make the playoffs.
Terry McLaurin requesting a trade.
The two sides have not made any type of meaningful progress.
He played a major role in their success last season, and also the development of Jaden Daniels at the quarterback position.
All very true. He is a big-time wideout, Terry McLaurin. He's looking for a long-term contract. Hasn't found one yet with the Commanders. Marcus Spears characterizes that situation.
Dumb as hell. It's one of the stupidest things that I've seen this offseason. It just seems like it makes all the sense in the world. Jaden Daniels still on the rookie contract. You let some big-time contracts go that you had with some D linemen, Jonathan Allen. Like, this team showed you what they potentially could be last year, and this is the window. We talk about this all the time. When you don't have to pay your quarterback $250 million, you go ahead and take care of everyone else around him. Terry McLaurin is absolutely the most important offensive player on this team outside of Jaden Daniels. And we here with a contract dispute 3 weeks in the camp, knowing full well you're going to need this guy to put yourself potentially back in the situation you were in last year.
Very interesting. J.P. Finley, NBC4 in Washington, D.C., joined Amber and Ian on one area where the wideout has a little resentment towards the team.
I think the Terry side resents the age conversation just because he doesn't have the same mileage on his body that other receivers at that age do. If you think about it, he redshirted a year at Ohio State, really didn't play much his first 2 years in college. He came into the NFL older. So, yes, this is now a third contract, but it's not the same as it is for a guy like Tyreek Hill or something. But the flip side of that is, all right, if you're really asking for $34 million a year, that means you think you're in the Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson camp, and I don't think the NFL views it that way. So I think both sides, now that this is becoming a much more intense timeline with real football less than a month away, it's time for both sides to kind of get realistic about how they can get a deal done.
On the subject of wide receivers, the Chiefs' Rashee Rice will have a disciplinary hearing on September 30th in New York. It's the second time under the 2020, the collective bargaining agreement, that the league and players union have agreed to this type of discipline. Dan Graziano joins SportsCenter.
What happens in these cases, a lot of times, or what happened here, the player, along with the players' union and the NFL, kind of discuss what the discipline will be. Here's what the NFL proposes. Do you accept this? Can we negotiate it? They couldn't get to an agreement, hence a hearing with Sue L. Robinson, who is the independent arbitrator for discipline in the NFL, who oversaw the Deshaun Watson case 3 off seasons ago. So she can do it on September 30th, so it waits until then. We don't know how long it takes her to rule off of that. After the Watson hearing, it was a full month before she issued a ruling, and then the league appealed it, and then there was a negotiation that landed on an 11-game suspension for Deshaun Watson. So what you have here is Rashee Rice will be available to start the season, and then there'll be a hearing in September 30th, and then at some point there's likely to be discipline issued for a length of time that we don't know and could impact the second half of the Chiefs season. So instead of having it at the front of the season and knowing when it's going to end, they now have to have it hanging over the back end of their season, and it could affect the playoff push.
We mentioned earlier, Shedeur Sanders will not be in the lineup for the Browns in their second preseason game, dealing with an oblique injury coming off that terrific start a week ago where he had a pair of scoring strikes, though Chris Canty says this could be good for both sides.
This could be a blessing in disguise for Shedeur Sanders, and here's what I mean by that. The ultimate objective is to sell the Cleveland Browns that you are their future at the quarterback position, especially considering that the Browns have 2 first-round draft picks in 2026. Maybe, just maybe, it might be in Shedeur's best interest with this potential injury, the fact that you're not going to see him out there against the Philadelphia Eagles on Saturday night. It tampers down unrealistic expectations that some people, and I say some, not all, have been putting on Shedeur while he's been considered or being in the mix for the QB1 job. When you look at the Cleveland Browns, starting the season as QB1 as a rookie might not be ideal.
The NFL Players Association put one of its top lawyers on paid administrative leave after multiple employees filed complaints with the union's Human Resources Department. Unsportsmanlike, joined by Damian Woody this morning, 7:30 Eastern, talking National Football League, and ESPN bet analyst Joe Fortenbaugh follows at 9:30. This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. I'm Jim Basquil. Southeastern Conference football has experienced a bit of a championship drought. The Powerhouse League has not won a national title since 2022. This after nearly 2 decades of dominance, 13 championships over a 17-year span beginning in 2006. They added Oklahoma and Texas in the Big 12, hoping to regain their stronghold in this coming campaign. Off to a good start. 10 teams ranked in the AP Top 25 poll. Johnny Manziel, former Heisman Trophy winner, on the Pat McAfee Show on his expectations for Texas QB Arch Manning.
I think with the people that he's had around him, the way that he was raised, the way that he's grown up, I think he's prepared for what he is getting himself into. But when it comes down to it, it is SEC football. They are going to scheme for him. They're going to be prepared for him. They know what kind of quarterback he is. So you're getting everybody's best shot. You know, you're starting up the season at the top of the board. You know who's coming for the top of the board? Everybody below you. So I have high expectations.
That's Texas. The other Big 12 team to come over a year ago, Oklahoma. Josh Pate, ESPN College Football Show analyst and host, joining Amber and Ian on the Sooners.
Man, that's a good roster. That is not a poverty roster. I mean, that's not some place where it's just it's a tomato can and there's nothing in it and you just kick it over. That's a place that made a terrible hire at OC last year, oil and water, combined with the talent they had. They had 5 new offensive line starters. There were a few terminal flaws. That roster is not terminally flawed by any stretch. I expect them to have a top 15 defense. I think I don't need elite quarterback play. You give me solid B-plus quarterback play out of that kid, which I think I can get, and you're running the ball effectively. Oklahoma may have the toughest schedule in the country, or one of them. I think they're in every game that they played this year. I really do believe there could be that big a turnaround with that team.
SportsCenter, 50 states in 50 days.
We going coast to coast. We going coast to coast.
On ESPN Radio.
50 states, 50 days. The SportsCenter road trip hitting the state of Texas. Everything is bigger in Texas, including the Cowboys. They've hit a rut as far as winning, while the Rangers are in the hunt this season. Season led by a starter who's been stellar, Nate Eovaldi. Never had a full season with an earned run average under 339. This year, his 14th season in the bigs. How about a $171 on that earned run average? He joined SportsCenter's Hannah Storm.
So we're featuring Texas. You are a Texas native. Alvin, Texas, went to the same high school as Nolan Ryan. I mean, how pervasive was his whole aura when you were growing up playing baseball?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, Little League, everywhere, even throughout high school. I mean, everywhere you went, Nolan Ryan was there. I remember going to like the local McDonald's and you got all the photos, you know, him fighting Ventura, and at our high school, Nolan Ryan Field and everything, the way he gives back to the community is amazing. So a lot of things I wouldn't be able to do without him there. So it's a big thanks to him.
I love it. You're 35 and you are pitching as well as you ever have. In fact, you're on a 20-game stretch, which is one of the greatest, almost unmatched in the history of baseball. How do you view where you are right now?
I don't know. I just try to take it one game at a time. You know, I think with Mike Maddox, our catching staff that we have here, the way that we prepare for the starts is just one at a time. Obviously, we're trying to give the team the best opportunity to go out there and win the games for us.
Your staff is allowing the fewest runs in baseball. You yourself have not given up more than 3 runs, only in one game this season. You always throw hitters off balance. They don't know what pitch is coming when. They can't get a handle on it. Kind of walk me through how you achieve that.
Us as a whole, you know, the starters feed off of one another. We encourage each other to try to go out there and, you know, one-up each other. You want to go out there and go as deep as you can into the ball games and, you know, not give up any runs. We're all rooting for each other, and then when I'm out there pitching, it's just a mix of the pitches. You know, I've had a lot of tough seasons where I've given up a lot of hits and things like that, but I've tried to learn from my mistakes, and I found that, you know, just having a good pitch mix has been the best success for me.
You won a World Series with the Red Sox. You played with the Dodgers. You played with the Yankees. I mean, these iconic franchises. But to be able to come home to your home state of Texas, to be able to lead this team to its first World Series ever and get the win in the clinching game, what has that been like?
It's been amazing. I mean, my time over here in Texas has been outstanding. The fans are incredible. Being this close to home and the family has been great. You know, it's easier for my wife and the kids to travel up here, and, you know, it's tough now with them being in school, but being able to see them or possibly fly home on an off day to spend a day at home, it's been incredible. And, you know, I can't thank everybody from the front office and ownership enough for, you know, trusting and believing in me to give me this opportunity to be over here.
What does baseball mean in Texas?
I don't know. I mean, you got, I know. I don't know. I love baseball, right? So, I mean, to me, it's everything. Without baseball, I don't know what I would be doing. The fact that we get to go out there and play the game and, you know, go out there and perform for the fans, you know, I don't take it for granted, and I love what we do.
When you think back on playing high school baseball in Texas, what are your best memories?
I got a lot of really good memories. I feel like, you know, playing high school baseball was always fun. I feel stress-free. We had a really good baseball team as well. A lot of the guys that we played select ball growing up with, they were all on the team, so we had a big program, and we were really talented. I feel like Mike Rogers was my coach at the time, and I feel like the way he challenged us, it, you know, made us ready to go for everything. Our baseball program wasn't the best at the time, and we were able to turn that around, and we had a lot of really good years, and they've been great, you know, ever since. So it was a lot of fun memories.
He's been stellar on the bump. Best season of his career. Tomorrow brings the state of Vermont as the next 50-50 stop. We mentioned the NBA televising some nearly 250 games nationally, thanks in large part to the new deal, which includes ABC and ESPN. You can check out the schedule out on ESPN.com. One team, Udonis Haslam says, can ill afford to get off to a slow start. Hails from Tinseltown.
My choice is the Los Angeles Lakers, and it's because of what you said earlier, Perk. Every night out in the West is must-see TV. Every night out in the West is going to be a slugfest. When I look at the teams in the West, everybody got better. You saw what the Denver Nuggets did by going to get help for Joker, by going and bringing back the other guys that played there, by going and making a trade for Cam Johnson. You see what they did. You see what the Clippers did by going to get Bill. They bringing in Chris Paul. They went and got Lopez. They went and got Collins. You see Minnesota when they got another year when they bring Julius Randle and another year in this belt in the playoffs. We saw what Houston did. Everybody in the West got better. Yes, the Lakers addressed their problems with size by bringing in DeAndre Ayton, but we will see how that fit works, and we will see if they got better. What I will say is, if they get out to a slow start, the king going to be a little bit disgruntled.
On the subject of the Lakers, they'll unveil a statue of former coach Pat Riley on February 22nd. They have statues up for Kareem, Magic, and Kobe. Coming up, name, image, likeness. Is it good for college sports? We explore on the other side, and the night's top plays ready to be heard. That's next. This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
The NFL on ESPN Radio.
The Bears, we could be talking about this team not even winning 6 games.
Camp to camp, team to team. 20 days until opening night.
Let's go crazy. Get the show going, man. Let's go.
The countdown continues on ESPN Radio. More SportsCenter All Night coming up next.
Looks like he'll approach the pump for the first time this week. He's been here many times, but this time it looks as if, yes, folks, he took out his phone as he steps up to the pump.
That's a pro move, saving at the pump with GulfPay.
Absolutely. He knows when the Red Sox win on the road, he wins at the pump.
Fans like him are saving 10 cents off per gallon all season long the day after the Red Sox win on the road with GulfPay. See app for details.
And he's done it. Paid, fueled, and saved with just a tap.
Cap and J Hood.
It's so good to have you guys a part of my life. And when I tune in every day, even though I don't call in as much as I should, I keep it locked in all the time off here in the snow.
I appreciate you, Curtis. Thank you so much for listening.
This radio station is by far the best radio station.
Get Cap and J Hood podcasts on demand in the ESPN Chicago app or listen weekdays 7 to 10 on ESPN 1000 and 100.3 HD2.
I believe you deserve to be able to trust in your lawyer. This is McDaniel Reynolds with the Reynolds Defense Firm, and we specialize in just one thing. We represent good people facing DUI charges. I believe in practicing law with honesty and integrity. I believe that a few bad moments do not somehow undo an entire lifetime of being a good person. And I believe in what we do. We represent good people facing DUI charges. If you've been arrested, you need help, and you deserve to be able to trust in your lawyer. We're online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. The Reynolds Defense Firm. We're solid, we're here if you need us, and we are very good at what we do.
Bears voted in favor of banning the tush push. They know what the play was, and they're just going on the term tush push. That doesn't sound very posh. Is that a profane term? I don't want it.
It sounds uncomfortable. Go ahead.
That too.
Ow! Ouchie! I haven't done that. Ouchie!
Cap and J Hood presented by ESPN Bet. Weekday morning 7 to 10 on ESPN Chicago and the ESPN Chicago app.
Every 65 seconds, someone in the United States develops Alzheimer's disease. Many don't even know it.
I just knew that I wasn't the high-performing person I used to be. Pieces of my past are being erased. I was lucky we caught this at the very earliest stages. I hope that my story can give other people hope. There is life to be lived. Increasingly, there will be treatments. We need to invest even more in research and finding treatments and cures.
Bright Focus Foundation's Alzheimer's Disease Research Program has invested more than $175 million in breakthrough research.
If your loved one or you yourself are sitting there thinking, something is wrong, I'm not who I used to be, you can get some answers and you can get them for free.
Call us at 1-855-345-6237 or visit us online at brightfocus.org/brainhealth to learn more.
Tune into I'm Over It on ESPN Chicago's Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings 5 to 7. Brought to you by Roofers Union Local 11.
Listening to SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Now, here's Jim Basquill.
Yeah, we're back on SportsCenter All Night with the night's top sounds, all about timely knocks from the bigs. Ed Bacon has the details.
SportsCenter All Night.
Oh, my goodness. Check it out on SportsCenter tonight.
Today's top sound.
How good is that? Are you ready to take?
Number 3.
Jim, it was a light baseball schedule on Thursday, but several contenders took the field, including the Mariners, who dropped their second in a row against the Orioles in Baltimore, as we hear on WBAL.
The 0-1 pitch hit on the ground, past the Davis Suarez. It'll roll down the line and left. Rounding third is Halladay. He scores. Westburg makes it to third on the back end, and it's a double for Gunnar Henderson. He drives in a run to extend the Orioles' lead to 4-0.
Number 2.
In Washington, the Phillies came to town with a 4-2 record on their 10-game road trip. That record is now 4-3 after the Nationals rallied with a 2-run 7th to come away with the victory. We get the call on the Nationals radio network.
The set at the belt. The pitch on the way. Swinging a ground ball. Base hit. Past the diving shortstop Turner. DeYoung scores the tying run. Adams being waved in. Marsh's throw is offline. And the Nationals lead. Adams scores standing up. Tana delivers. The Nationals 3, the Phillies 2.
Number 1.
And the Blue Jays continue to lead the way in the American League East as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. provided the big blow and win over the Cubs. The call from Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
0-2 pitch. Hit high. Left center field. Castro sprinting back at the fence. Turns. It's out of here! Big fly. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. A stunner step around second as he slams the Blue Jays in front 2-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Giving Max Scherzer that win over the Cubs. College players being paid and paid big, at least the big-time players. Is it good for the game? Name, image, likeness. Does it level the playing field? UCF coach Scott Frost.
I don't think anybody's really happy with the situation we're in now, except maybe the institutions that have just unlimited money to spend and they want to keep that advantage. If people really knew what went on, it's a mess. It's constant negotiation, and it's a bidding war for every single player, whether they're in the portal or not. That's the reality, whether people want to admit it or not. And it's a sad state if a sport as beautiful as college football is won by the people with the richest boosters. And that's kind of where we are right now. But hopefully they're trying to put some guardrails around it, and I think it would make the game a better game if there were at least some restrictions and rules in place.
Yeah, meantime, Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame coach, reaching the playoffs, reaching the title game a year ago, on how NIL has impacted his program.
If you would ask me what it would be like before this happened, hey, we're going to compensate our players. What is going to be like? You might say, oh, it's going to be like the NFL. It's going to be a little bit different. But at the end of the day, there's still 18 to 22-year-olds. And there's a couple of things I think are important is that as we compensate these young people, we have to continue to educate them on how to protect their finances, how to make sure they're making smart decisions with their money, and, not just dumping money into their bank accounts and saying good luck. Like, I don't think that's helping our young people have a future of success. But the other thing is, at the end of the day, they still want to be great football players. Right? It's not about making money as much as it is about I want to be the best football player I can be, and the better football player I am, the more I might be compensated. And so they want to improve, and it's our job as coaches is to pour into them and do everything in our power to help them improve.
Back to the NFL, we told you 50-50 reaching the state of Texas, and we talk ad nauseum about the Cowboys and all their star players that are looking for big money. What about the Texans, Mike Tannenbaum?
In terms of the Texans, two keys. Number one, Derek Stingley has to play in 17 games. He's only done that once in his career. This is a dominant defense when Stingley is on the field. He has to play the full season. And then offensively, protect. C.J. Stroud's a great young quarterback. They were 29th in sacks allowed. They moved on from Larry Tunsil. They have a few young offensive linemen that will have to play well right away for them.
Meantime, Robert McIntyre matches a low score on the PGA Tour, 6 birdies, 62 at the BMW. He has a 3-shot lead over Tommy Fleetwood. Scotty Scheffler, though, is lurking 14th consecutive round in the 60s. Coming up, the Mets lose again. And what's up with Micah and the Cowboys? That's next. You're listening to SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Friday, I'll tell you why the Dolphins are headed for a rough season, and it has nothing to do with their quarterback. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
SportsCenter all night. More still to come.
The Waddle and Sylvie audio experience.
What are those guys' names?
Siegfried and Roy.
One of them's gone.
They both died.
Are they both done?
Yes, sir.
That's another name or names. When you're younger, you always got it mixed up when you heard it.
Siegfried and Roy?
I thought there were three of them. I thought there was Sig. I thought there was Fried. And I thought there was Roy. I'm like, where's the third dude?
Oh, I just got
a
laughing cramp.
If you missed something, get the podcast on the ESPN Chicago app.
Or listen live daily 2:30 to 6:30. ESPN Chicago.
Road win rewards. Road win rewards. Road win rewards.
Red Sox fans are loving Gulf's Road Win Rewards because when the Red Sox win on the road, you win at the pump. All season long, enjoy 10 cents off per gallon the day after the Red Sox win on the road when you use Gulf Pay. Download Gulf Pay to score savings along with a fast and convenient way to pay. See app for details. Gulf, it all starts here.
And go Sox!
I believe you deserve to be able to trust in your lawyer. This is McDaniel Reynolds with the Reynolds Defense Firm, and we specialize in just one thing. We represent good people facing DUI charges. I believe in practicing law with honesty and integrity. I believe that a few bad moments do not somehow undo an entire lifetime of being a good person. And I believe in what we do. We represent good people facing DUI charges. If you've been arrested, you need help, and you deserve to be able to trust in your lawyer. We're online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. The Reynolds Defense Firm. We're solid, we're here if you need us, and we are very good at what we do.
Our local hospitals are the heartbeat of our communities, delivering critical care every hour of every day for everyone, training the next generation of caregivers. Beyond the walls, their benefit to the community is everywhere, driving the local economy and supporting local organizations, initiatives, and neighbors. Illinois Hospitals, healing communities. Learn more at team-iha.org. Sponsored by the Illinois Health and Hospital Association. Aired in cooperation with the Illinois Broadcasters Association and this station.
More than 6 million kids in the U.S. have ADHD, and many aren't getting the support they need. At understood.org, we can help. Sometimes in class, the only thing your child can focus on are the thoughts racing through their head.
Why am I always falling behind? Why do I feel so alone? So different.
Your child is looking to you for answers. But as a parent, you probably have a lot of questions too. What should I do next? Where do I even start? At understood.org, we provide parents with the resources they need to help kids with ADHD thrive. Your child wants to thrive. Be the reason they do. Visit understood.org/the reason to get started.
This is ESPN Chicago, WNVP, WTBC, HD2 Chicago, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Coming up on SportsCenter all night.